Thank you very much, everyone, for joining today. This workshop that we will be hosting, titled Capacity Building of Women Academicians in Higher Education Institutions. It's really a pleasure for me to be here together with Dr. Shrimati Das. She will be the workshop facilitator today. We will be analyzing some case studies, doing some group work, and debating and questionings about the role of women in academia. I would like to first introduce Professor Dr. Shrimati Das, so I can then give full control of this workshop to you. So Dr. Shrimati Das is a former cultural diplomat, first secretary and director of the Gurudev Tagore Indian Cultural Center of the Embassy of India in Mexico. She's a senior research fellow for the CCRT of the Ministry of Culture of the Government of India since 2020. She's also an independent scholar and cultural influencer, and the chair professor of the Indian Cultural Studies, the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, ICCR, of the Ministry of Culture of the Government of India. She held this position in 2012 and 2017. She's a distinguished chair professor for Indian studies in the multicultural gender studies of global feministic studies in the University of Northern Kentucky in the USA in 2012. She's also a distinguished visiting professor of comparative study on Western and Indian feminism, a course on gender studies in the University of Gajah-Mada, is that correct? In 2015 and 2017. She was a postdoctoral research fellow for the Northern Kentucky University in 2012 with a project entitled Violence Against Women, a Global Survey and Action Plans. And she was also a Fulbright visiting scholar at the International Conference of the College of English Association in St. Petersburg, Florida. She has several publications, which you will be able to find online, and translations, right, as well. So without any further delay, I would like to, give the full event to Professor and Dr. Shrimati Das, so she can start with this workshop today.
Muchas gracias. Namaskar. Today is a very auspicious day because I come from India. I'm an Indian. Today is a very auspicious day for us. Not that it's a Valentine's Day. Of course, Valentine's Day is good. We celebrate it in India too. But today is a very auspicious day in India because today is the festival of the goddess of learning we call as Saraswati. Let me start.
Can you open the PowerPoint application? Just one click.
Yeah. So this is what I would like to start the workshop with. And I'm very fond of that title, Waiting in the Wings to Crowd at the Top, particularly women academicians at the higher education portal. I don't talk about undergraduates and graduates. I talk about postgraduates, PhD, research. So this will be the topic, and the overall topic is the capacity building of women managers, women academicians in the higher education. Okay. As I was telling you, today is a very auspicious day for Indians, and that is the goddess of Saraswati. We pray her today, and we call her as the goddess of knowledge, wisdom, learning, art, and music. And when I was doing I was the cultural diplomat at the Embassy of India here. I have completed my term. And we had done a beautiful a very effective study on India-Mexico Cultural Connect. And at that time, I came across Quetzalcoatl, the god of life, the light, and the vision. And we found, I and my team, we found a lot of similarities between Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge, and Quetzalcoatl from Mexico. So today I thought, let me remember both and start. What can be a more auspicious day than starting this workshop today? Just to give you a small glimpse of India. India can't be given a glimpse in one slide, but I would thought that this would be more appropriate to the topic of the workshop. The 7th largest country in the world, and I have got a habit of underlining the points I want to insist on, I want to talk on with the yellow, with the blue, with the underline. The rest of the thing is for you to see on the slide. I won't be reading the entire slide. I have marked here that power to 48. India forms 48.8% of the population of India. India is the largest populated country in the world, having overtaken China. The best part of India, or the beauty of India, and I love India, is we have got 19,000 dialects, 121 language, 270 mother tongues in all 7 major religions of the world. Multicultural, multilingual, multi-religious country. The only multicultural country in the world today is India, or Bharat. We have 22 official language of India and 3 language formula: international, national, regional. It is a compulsory in the schools. India is an English-speaking medium, what we dispense our education, particularly from the KG to the PG. English is one of our most important languages, apart from the regional and the national language what we have. I come down to the topic immediately now. I draw your attention to this, the statistics of education of girls and women in India. It is such an eye-catching one. Like you have percentage of girls in primary school, if you see, it is fantastic, 91.95. I have done an arrow pointing downwards, and you look at that plunge what we have. Secondary comes down to 78 or something. Undergraduate, 49, nearly half of it. Postgraduate, 42. Progressing forward to PhD, just 15. Women teachers in university, 35.3%. Women teachers in universities, 35.3%. Most of them are assistant professors. Very little percentage of them, they go to being associate professors, or as professors or deans or rectors, as we have vice chancellors in India. The percentage is abysmally low. That we'll come across when I do the presentation. But the entire labor participation of India is 27.1%. Get educated at 91.95, but look at the leakage. It comes down to just 15.3% who progresses to the PhD studies. This is the World Bank collection studies, what we have. If you go to the teaching faculty, primary education, women faculty, they outnumber men in the teaching fraternity, in the primary classes. But as we go up, the glass ceiling hits us. The slippery floor hits us. The greasy pole hits us. The chilly climate hits us. And it is not because of the things which we, a woman is not able to do there. It is because of some systemic error, some rules of the university system or the higher education system, which needs to be really looked into, and why this capacity building was started. And this is the main thing of what we are going to talk here today. Why is the progress not there from the primary section teachers to the higher education sector? What happens? Then we go to you have most women in the higher education sector remains a middle ranking post, even if they are in the university. They join as assistant professors, they remain as assistant professors. They do not get a higher posting because of many reasons. It is not only the systemic failure, it is not only the institutional rules which come into force, or it is not only the government rules and regulation, it is also the social factor which comes into, or personal factor which comes into because of the women's slide in growing up or going up to the higher echelons of higher education in India. Now we have got this academic leadership. Now there are 5 modules of this. I'm taking up only 2 modules for you, and that will be women in academic leadership and women in research, because I feel these 2 are very important to augment the number of women who go up the ladder of higher education system. Now, we have done a lot of studies. We have taken a lot of statistics from the educationists and the researchers from all over the world. We have taken from Kearney, and we have taken from Leatherby and Shields, and many such writers, whom you can read, and I'll be leaving my presentation with Professor Matthias. You can just take it from him whenever you want to. I'll be giving a lot of reading material for you at the end of my sessions so that you can go to it and you can find out whatever I've been quoting here today. Just this 20%, I just want to go here back. The 20%, it is not only in India, it is abysmally low, it is all over the world. In UK, it is just 20% of the permanent staff. So it is not only in India where we have got only 23%, it is also in UK where you have just got 20%. You can go to Leatherby and Shields and you can find this. I will tell you about India now. Total registered university, 1,104, you can see there, out of which is exclusively for women. Standalone institution, 11,296. India has got the highest number of higher education institutions in the world today. Maybe because of the population, but where do we stand? I just got this statistics from AISHA, which is the Indian Survey on Higher Education. And we have got central universities, we have got private universities, as you have in Mexico, and we have deemed to be universities. As per the University Grants Commission, UGC 2020 report, only 17 of the country's 1,114 universities, recognized universities, have female vice chancellors, or we call as rectors. Look at the statistics, only 17, which works out to be 0.024% of the total. It is a recent statistics. And out of this 17, what I'm talking about, most of them are the principals of the women's colleges, not the university. Now, university is different, colleges are different. In India, many women's colleges have the women principals, and they're doing splendid job. They are doing awesome job. But when they go up to the higher education in the universities, again, there is a slide in becoming the vice chancellor or the rectors. 14 women universities where the vice chancellors can only, because of the rules by the ordinance of the government, only women can become principals, so they become the principals or the universities there. You can have at a glance, Central University is 51, India occupies only, women occupy only 9.8. Indian Institute of Managements, the elite institute of management in the country, elite, and to get an admission there is very difficult task. There are no women. There are absolutely no women directors. There was one, I guess, 100% men. There was only one director in the entire years and decades of Indian Institute of Managements. Why? Are not women capable? Because there are no ordinances. There are no fixed strictures that these amount of women, 30% of women have to be taken as it is there in the corporate sector today in India. Corporate sector, 30% of women 30% of workforce should be women. There is a glass ceiling there too, but again, there is a provision. There are ordinances which push women upward. If you're capable, you go up. But in the university system, higher education system in India, there is no ordinance at all, in spite of having a national education policy which encourages girls. The government does everything in its power to encourage girls to go up till the PhD. It is called KG to PG, KG to PG. But what happens? Why do the women fall wayward? Now you see the state-private university, again the same story, 3.6%. Total of the entire university system, we have got only 6.67% women who are occupying positions of power in the higher education sector. They could be members of the organization, members of the committee, they could be deans, and they could be also the rector or the controller of the examination. Not many go up till that level. Now I was thinking if there was a large number of people who are online or here who are present, you could do the same kind of study. I'm sure you have done the same thing in Mexico too, because I believe every workshop has to be window to the future research. And every workshop has to have an agenda. The agenda is you motivate the students, the participants, to go ahead after the workshop is over. So I have got some suggestions there, and I have given you a link into the Mexico Higher Education University institutions. And you can collect this, as I said, from Dr. Matthias later, and you can go over. And such a heartening one thing which I want to really tell here is that female students in higher education in Mexico in the year 22-23, like India, it is very high. But I would like to know what is their progress for the higher education and becoming a professor at the university. It is left to the participants here, online as well as in presencia, what they could do for this. You could trace this progress too. Well, this is how the leadership gains or climbs the ladder of higher education. You have to create a vision in the youngsters, as we say, catch them young, and academic success for students, regardless of socio-economic levels. There is absolutely no difference between a student coming from a lower strata, so-called lower strata, because education has no differentiation. As you say, air does not differentiate, water does not differentiate, the sun does not differentiate. Why should the education be differentiated? Everyone gets the education, the benefits of education, but look at the growth, how it falls down once it reaches the top. Then we have got the education system. Then you have aspired to maintain a responsive, healthy, and safe learning environment for girls in the school. A safe learning environment is very, very important, be it in any part of the world today. It has to be given a sense of security for the girl students who come to the school, that they can acquire knowledge without putting their safety into peril. The curriculum need and the instructional methods. Delegate responsibility to everybody involved. That is the job of the head of the university. And how many women reach there? We all know. I've just shown you the statistics. The pathetic, it is just 6%. Some characteristics of women leaders, I don't know why they do not proceed higher up. One is that transformational leadership style. Their style is entirely different from the men. As I always say, I have absolutely no competition with the men, with my men professors. They are equally understanding, they're equally cooperative. Only the style of working may be different, that you can't change it. Like we say, a man is more competitive, a woman is more collaborative. But that is how it is. But you know, when you go to societal, then you say, somebody introduces me. When somebody sends a mail to me, it is so funny, you know, I would like to share, Professor, with you. When somebody sends a mail to me, dear sir/madam, they know my name. They know I'm Dr. Das. But when they want to send a mail, it is dear sir/madam. Now, if they want to introduce, when I'm with my husband, and if they want to introduce me, she is Mrs. So-and-so. Or at the most, she is Mrs. Das. Come on, I'm Dr. Das, I'm Professor Das. So that makes me to feel very important. Maybe the doctor and professor nomenclature, the title, I have earned it, okay? I have earned it by doing my research and my postgraduate and my postdoctoral research for 11 long years away from my family. I have earned it. Now, when I have earned it, how do you just introduce me as Mrs. Das? social construct. This is how the cultural construct also goes, because you are known as the wife of someone. You are not known as a professor of an university who has put in her or her best for teaching the students, the undergraduate as well as the postgraduate students, for 33 long years. Come on, I know what is my position in the higher education system. But why? Why don't you introduce me properly? Do I lack anything in me? No. Then where is the failure? It is a systematic failure. It is the institutional failure. It is the educational policy failures. In India, we have got policies to safeguard the women in all the sectors of life. Trust me, India is one of the countries which is so vibrant, understanding the need of a girl child, the need of a woman, the need of a woman professional. But why do you divide the academics from the others? There is absolutely no control over the recruitment of the teachers or the promotion of the teachers in the university level. Even today, the national education policy talks about the intake of girls, does not talk about the growth of the professors in the university level, where most of them want to become the professors, or they are capable of becoming the professors, and they have got the capacity to become the professors. Women always work in a collegial atmosphere. They do not believe in kind of any friction. See, exceptions may be there everywhere, but generally, they do not believe in this kind of frictional atmosphere. A collegial atmosphere is what a woman always looks for. Cooperation, collaboration. These are very famous words which are used for the women academicians, and that is communication style. A woman is much more communicative with another person than a man. A man would be, it is the inbuilt. You cannot help it. You can't say this is right and this is wrong. This is the inbuilt in the man, that his communication style may be somewhat very, very official, or may be very, very practical. But for a woman, she becomes much more emotional quotient is high in a woman. She puts in her heart and soul and communicates. Now, good leader, what do you want in a good leader to become? The women universities in India, the women colleges in India, which has got women as the head, they are doing phenomenally well because of all these characteristics which is present in them. Then why not in the higher education? Why? I have given you many things there. As I told you, you can take it from him. And I would just talk about, look at this. This is the Gender Inequality Index, where worldwide it is 0.450, and the human potential loss of the human potential is 45%. And India stands at 56.3% of the loss, because you're not making use of the capacity of a woman as an educationist. You're losing that human resource. You're not tapping it, you're allowing it to leak away. And India's gender equality index is again little higher than the world, good, but it is again 0.563%. Switzerland has one of the best statistics, where you find only 0.030, and the human potential loss is just 3%. You're not tapping. Why are you not tapping? And I would like some of you can tell your students also, ma'ams, that they can do a research, similar indices for Mexico too. I want to know, what is the gender inequality index and human potential loss for Mexico? We can do this kind of studies in our dissertations in the classes. Resistance to women in management post. Generally, we are not given any management post. Why? Is it because we are less competitive? Is it because we do not have that much we have a strong emotional quotient? Or what is it? Is it that we do not have the educational qualification? We do have the educational qualification. Then why are we not applying for the post of the management? Why are we stopping? And a very funny thing happens. I'll just share with you. When you attend, I was attending one of the promotional, we get promoted from assistant professor to associate professors and all. I joined as an associate professor. When I went to go give my interview, first the question asked is that, are you married? Yes, sir, of course I'm married. So you have kids? Yes, I have 2 boys. Who will look after the kids if you come to the university? Do you ask the same questions to a man? Why do you ask a woman? Leave my family to me. I know. I'm capable, as capable, may not be more capable, as capable as my male colleague. But do you ask these questions to him? No, you ask these questions to me. In the beginning itself, you're putting a barrier into my head that you are a married, you have got kids, how are you going to teach the children? Come on, a woman is more capable of teaching the children because she is a manager herself in the home. She manages between 4 kids, and she manages it so beautifully. So why do you want to, this was shared with me by my mentor, by my handholder, by my bystander. These are all the words used for capacity building today, Dr. Karuna Chanana. She is the woman who made me today what I am. I'm ever grateful to her because I was just an associate professor in a small city in India. India is a huge country, muy grande country, in a small university, but I went up to become a cultural diplomat. I went on to represent my country in many international conferences. I have guided my PhD students, all because of the mentors like Dr. Karuna Chanana, and because I was one of the beneficiaries of these capacity building workshops, which were started by the government of India to capacitate women. Government does it, but somewhere, again, this kind of programs get cut off or it gets discontinued. Lack of any gender balance in leadership roles. We say there is a gender blindness, not a gender balance. There is a total blindness in most of the institutional higher education institutions programs because they say that leadership roles is man-made. Merit roles, leadership is merit-based, leadership is male-based, leadership is societal constructions. And everything we say a leader, if you go into the description of a leader, Professor Matthias, they say a leader has to be strong, a leader has to be capable, a leader has to be giving his whole and soul to lead everybody. You mean to say a woman cannot lead? Why do you make it as a male definition of the leadership? The definition of leadership should be changing. Then only the women can come into the leadership positions. Non-committal to research. One of the greatest drawback a woman can do to herself is not get into research. She is not a researcher. There are many factors which does not make her to go into research, and today in the research-dominated world, research-dominated institution, if you do not give your research potential, then you are not going to be getting any promotion in the ladders of the higher education. Then we have family responsibilities, adolescent children, which takes away our time. I was just telling the professor here just in the morning before it's afternoon, before the workshop started, that I had a lot of cooling period. I call it as a cooling period because I did not come into research. I did not come into my job. I came as an associate professor, very happy to be an associate professor for 15 years. Because I didn't do my research. I was not promoted because I had to take care of my 2 boys. Very happily I took care of it. I wanted them to become something, go out of the school, get into the professional. Then I wanted to get into, I had a cooling period. Maybe many women like me, because of the family responsibility, which I took it up upon myself, though I have a very supportive family asking me to go ahead and do many things. But I thought that as a mother, I have to give my time to the boys first. Because for me, growth of their personal growth was more important than going and teaching and becoming a professor or becoming a rector of an university. I think most of the women all across the world, family responsibilities draw them down. And adolescent children and lack of networking. Can any of you tell me what is networking? What is networking? Networking.
Building nets and working together with other, women
Absolutely.
or men.
Absolutely, ma'am. I'm very happy you said that women or men. Networking is very, very important for us. Because I always say network is our net worth. Now, bank, when you go to apply for a loan, they ask you, what is your net worth? Being an educationist myself, a teacher myself, I always say, my networking is my net worth. How many people do I know? How many professors do I know from the other universities? How many conferences have I attended? How many papers I have published? How many publishers do I know? Come on, these are the networking, which is your net worth today. If I really want to become a very serious academician, I have to get into networking. Women are very bad networkers because we feel there is a social constriction in us. We have timing given to us. We want to run home after the classes are over. But men stay back and do the networking. That is why there is an old boys club. There is no old girls club. In any university in the world, they have an old boys club. They meet once in a while and they connect with themselves. They have a bonhomie between them. But no woman will have in any university this kind of old women club. As it is, women don't like to hear old women. So probably that's why they don't join such clubs. So old women club, old boys club, they feel very happy about it because that shows they are matured and they are very senior post. So this is lack of networking. Family and social obstacles, yes, it is there always for everybody in any part of the country, in any part of the world. The next I want to talk about is about self-mentoring. The word mentor is a very important word which we women lack. We do not have mentors. As I told you, I have Dr. Karuna Chanana, Armeti Desai, the former chairperson of UGC, University Grants Commission, the apex body for higher education in India, who was responsible for starting the CBWM. I had a lot of mentors like Jaya Indriyasan, I had Sushila Kaushik, I had wonderful mentors with me. Mentors are the people who tell you what to do when you're young. Now, how many of us mentor the young teachers, telling them, there is a conference here, go. There is a publication here, write. I will take care of this. I will take care of your classes. Please go. How many of us do that? We don't do it because we are more bothered about our own progress than bothering about our fellow women's progress. We don't have the tradition of mentorship. That's where the next generation women lose out. How to overcome these barriers? As I just told you, network is net worth for me. We need to network. Like they say, after 5 o'clock, the classes in India is between 10 and 5. You may have a seminar till 6. After that, a woman always dashes home because she has got a lot of responsibilities at home. And there is also a social construction in India that, we need to get back home before the sun sets. Before the husband comes from the office, before the school children come back from the office. I need to go back home. Now, there is a meeting at 6 o'clock of a very important meeting to discuss who is going to represent this university for a paper in India. Who is going to represent? Who is going to be representing this university? And this committee is going to decide. Mind you, in the committee there are no women. It is all men-dominated committee. There is no rules in the university that 1/3 has to be a woman, as we have in other committees in the corporate sector. Only women are there. Men are there. So a woman doesn't go to the meeting at all for giving her interest, for showing her interest, because she knows she won't get selected. And moreover, it is already 6 o'clock, meeting is at 6:30, I have to rush home. So we have got many problems with our networking. That's where we lose out. There is a dinner given by the rector at night, 9:30, 10 o'clock. And we are supposed to be there. Come on, all our growth, even in the corporate sector, happens only in the smoking room or where they have a peg of drinks. Or in the education sector, it is always in this kind of networking, academic networking. We have to meet people. We have to tell them, look, this is what I have done. We have to be very, very vociferous about what we are doing. Women doesn't do that. Basically, women is not vociferous. We do not tell, we do not speak out. We have to rush home at 6:30 because I have my family waiting for me there. So to hell with the meeting, to hell of going to India to present a paper. I don't care because I won't get selected. The committee is made out of men. I'm going home. That is where you lose out. I have lost out many times. Be innovative, creativity. Women can be the most creative more than a man. Everybody knows about it. There's no question of competition here. It is no question of either or. It is both are partners in the growth of each other. I always believe that's what I was telling Dr. Matthias. I would love to have a man in the audience because for me, no workshop on women is complete unless I have a man in the audience. Because if you're just talking with among ourselves, we are talking to the walls. If we talk with a man, the man may be our partner in progress. He may be a partner in development for me. He may talk to the rector tomorrow. Well, this is what Dr. Das was telling. Sir, is it possible? Can we change the rules in this university? Because he is the whole and soul, the honorable rector of any university. Can we do that? But what we do is that we do not involve ourselves. We are very good problem solvers because women is called as a very good manager, the best manager of the. That's why she brings all the managerial capability into her boardroom in all the IT sectors today. We have a lot of women doing so well because woman is a problem solver. Like you say, somebody told me once, I remember, sir, this is the problem. Dr. Das, don't come to me with the problem, come with the solution of this problem. That is what today the private sector says. Don't come to me with the problem, come with the solution to the problem. So this is very important. Women are very good problem solvers. It has been proved in India, in the higher education sector, in the schools, in the colleges, that where the women principals are there are less violence. There are less problems because she is a great problem solver. These are all the capabilities which women can shine equally like the man. I never use the word better than the man because nobody is in a competition here. This is what I was talking about. I am a beneficiary of this capacity building of women managers in higher education. I would like you to read this slide very closely because 1956, the University Grants Commission, the apex body for India, education in India was established. Since then, there were only 2 women chairmen. Look at the time period, 81, 86, 5 years. Armeti Desai, she is my mentor, 95, 99. 5 years and 4 years, 9 years. Out of 75 years or 70 years, 9 years you have given to a woman. Why? There are no women to become chairman of the UGC, chairperson of the UGC. Only when a woman comes into force, they can do something for the other women academicians. This is what Armeti Desai, she did it. She started this CBWM, that is Capacity Building of Women Managers in Higher Education. And she became, there she started talking about the gender biasness and take an academic leadership. And then she started what she called, she says here that you will find no women as VCs in India. VC is the Honorable Rector, because the selection committee mostly comprise men who do not give much weightage to women candidates. Besides, we have observed many times that women candidates do not have the confidence. Now, we are also at fault. We also do not have the confidence because we are not well equipped with our research capability, with our managerial capability. We do not know how to be good managers. We know it, but we are scared of exposing to it. We do not, because we are not sure about it. Nobody has told me you are a good manager till now. So I'm not very sure of what I can do. So this is what she said. And she says, women are ready to take the role. That is why we have started the capacity building program. This capacity building program we have started it in 2003 and stopped it in 2013. It was a 10-year period. It was stopped because she went out as the chairmanship and suddenly the government stopped this program. But in the 10 years, it had done phenomenally well. There were 140 SAMs. SAMs divided into 3, SAM, TOT, MSEM. SAM is sensitization, then it is the M is the motivation, and A is the awareness of the woman, what you are doing. SAM, TOT, training of the trainers, and the MSEM is an advanced about governance. How do you make the budget for the university? How do you become the controller of the examination? How do you spend the money in your department? Those kind of, women are very good at budgeting, but we did not know the budgeting can be used, our talent can be used in the budgeting of the university also. So this is what was divided into SAM, TOT, and MSEM. I am a beneficiary of SAM. Then I went on to become a trainer. I trained the SAM participants. 7,500 teachers were trained in this SAM workshop. And out of the 7,500 people, many of them have reached the higher levels of governance. I am one of the beneficiaries. I went on to become the cultural diplomat. And my name has been registered in a book which has been done by the UGC. My case study was the #1 case study in India because I was the beneficiary from a small town of SAM, TOT, and MSEM. I think the MSEM I didn't attend. It was the SAM. I became a trainer there. So this is a very important. But the last point I would like to draw your attention, we wanted to do a documentary along with BBC. We had a director from the BBC, a woman director, who wanted to make a film on that. We call it as the crowding at the top. I was the script writer along with the other ladies, the women beneficiaries, and our under the tutelage of, under the guidance of Dr. Armati Desai. But her term got over, 2013 got over, the entire project was shelved, including the documentary. I'm sure if it had continued for another 10 years, 2023, there's been a yeoman change in the image of the women occupying the higher education policies in India. But abruptly it changed and nobody knows why. There are 5 manuals, as I told you, from 2003 to 2013. We have taken up only 2 today, academic leadership, what I'm talking on, and the research. The other 2, just like 240 SAM, maximum impact, 4,452, I'm one of them, and research. These are the 2 things. These are the 5 manuals. Each manual, 1 day. 5 manuals, 5 days. Because we have to talk about many case studies there, interactive. It is a very interactive. It is not one-way talking. Like you have to tell me what are your experiences of your growth in the university. What are your experiences as a teacher, as a student in the university, which is a mixed university. What are your experiences? It goes mostly on interaction. So 1 day, 1 manual, 5 days, all of us were deputed from the colleges to the university. And we were trained by highly capacitated, highly motivated women from the University Grants Commission. Then finally, I went on to become the trainer, training the other women, like a cascading effect. You train me, I train others, she trains somebody else. It is like a cascade, and finally we have women occupying the higher posts. Now this activity, this part will end. I always believe any workshop should be window to the future. It should not be like you finish and you go. That's what I was suggesting to Dr. Matthias, that you have to have a feedback. What do you understand from this? What do you take back from this workshop? Because workshop is interactive. Workshop is future-oriented. Workshop should be a window for the future. I have got 3 activities here. You have to do is that you have to find out what are the institutions of Mexico and study the number of women teachers recruited from KG to PG, kindergarten to postgraduate. I'm sure it is going to be another arrow downwards. Another thing you could do, we have a lovely system called as the intake pyramid. If you go higher education as a pyramidical structure, down is the assistant professor, then comes the assistant professor, then comes the dean, then comes the rector, vice chancellor, rector, vice chancellor. As you go to the pyramid, the peak is always a man. But the down base is always more women than the men. Assistant professor, demonstrators, lecturers, part-time lecturers, they are guest lecturers. Most of them are women because they work for 2 hours, they go back home. But you don't find men doing that because men are always permanent posts. Most of the universities, wherever permanent posts are there, they prefer a man than a woman because the questions will be asked, are you married? How many kids do you have? I don't know in what way the questions are connected to the best way for you is if you're in the selection committee, you ask the same question to a man. So the man will never ask the question to a woman tomorrow. So are you married? How many kids do you have? Now you have intake pyramid is very important for Mexico to know where does the women stand in women in higher education sector. Now, as I was telling you, the gender inequality index or the human potential loss, some of your students can do what is the study on this too. It will be an eye-opener, trust me. It is going to be an eye-opener for you. Oh, yeah, is it? I didn't know. Is it so? Let's talk to the rector. Why is this? Let us send a representation to the education department. Why is this? Every country faces that, but for few countries like Australia or Sweden, I have got some examples for you here too. Good examples. Everything is not so dark. Every cloud has got a silver lining too. Let's learn from others' example. Nothing wrong in that. We go to the next one. This is the capacity building workshop. We had like that 140 all across India. Muy grande país, India. We have got all women, but remember these women are all assistant professors. Out of a crowd of 7,500, maybe only 50 reaches the top. Rest of them, but at least 50 you could do. You could trap the talent in the 50. You could trap the talent in that 50. Am I not proud today if my mentorship makes a girl to become a PhD holder, get a professor's post, and I keep on tracking her progress. I keep an eye on you. That's what I tell my students. Where you reach, I will see. Because for me, even if 2 students becomes a professor, after 20 years, that's my contribution. Because I have mentored her. This mentorship is only for a man to man. It never happens for a woman to a woman. If it happens, it can work wonders in the higher education sector. Because she is busy with her family, I'm busy with my family, you're doing a job and running back home. You know, we don't have time for the others. That's the problem, one of the most drawbacks of the Indian academician. I go to the second. We will do this 2 activities, what we have now. It is concerned with women and research. The first one, what I had, I would like to thank my colleague, who was also a SAM recipient. She is from the Bangalore University. Her name is Dr. Sudeshna Mukherjee, a senior professor. She is at the Women's Studies Department, and she has given me all this status. We both discussed and we updated it regarding the statistics of the academic leadership. Now, this is my manual along with Dr. Karuna Chanana. I was taking this manual in many SAM workshops across India, and that is women and research. For me, when I became a teacher, when I joined as an associate, I joined as a part-timer because I had to look after my new baby. I didn't join as a full-timer. And I was promoted as a full-timer, as an assistant and then an associate professor. I knew at that time, trust me, if I am a researcher, then only I'll be promoted, otherwise no. I'll be taken seriously by my colleagues, otherwise no. I will publish, then only my peers will respect me, otherwise no. Somehow it came into my mind, I have to attend conferences, I have to chair conferences, I have to chair all the meetings, I have to be a member of the governing body, I have to be a member of the selection committee. I had to fight. Why? Why not the institution have the rules in its place? Why not? Why should I fight for everything? And when you start fighting for everything, the man thinks that you always grab the thing. I'm not a grabber. I want to be given because of my rights. Yes, I'm not claiming what is not mine. I'm claiming because I'm capable, because I have academically strengthened myself. I have done it. This is the reason why I want to tell you about women and research. You can do a research of your university and your schools from where you come from, colleges where you come from. Last 1 decade, how many women have done research? Trust me, it is really going to be an eye-opener for you, and say maybe 1 or 2%. This is what we talk about women and research. Any higher education institution is connected with the research. No research, you have no growth in a higher education institution. Research is important for the society. Research is also important for the academia. Research is important for the institution's prestige. Research is also important for the woman's career. You can do research on humanities and understand women's situation in the society. Just becoming a professor, just dispensing education is not enough. You have to be in a managerial position because you can control the fate of the other. I mean, you can really do something for the other women who are there in your department. You have to be in a managerial position because power calls the shot. Power is important in any education institution as it is important in any other organization. The position of power is very important. A woman can get the position of power only when she does some serious research in any domain of her activity. It need not be only in science. Same thing what I just told you now, faculty becomes visible. You could do a research on feminist perspective and methodology. Social analysis you could do. Not that you have to always go and do on science and nuclear physics, though women in STEM subjects are very less, and the teachers are pathetically low, abysmally low teachers in the science faculty. I don't know why in India we feel, I'm not talking about any other country, why in India we feel women are not capable of. The students, girl students are more in STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics. Women students are more than the boys, but women teachers, teaching them nearly zero. Why? When students are more, what has happened to those girls? It is a prestige in India if you ask somebody, what is your daughter studying in undergraduate? Oh, she's a science student. Oh, she's a science student. So if you're a science student, you're intelligent. That's what it is. Now, what happens to that girl? India is a very traditionally modern country. Now, after a certain age, a girl is, the main thing is that you may be holding a high job, you may be highly educated. Are you married? After a certain age, if you're not married, it is, even today, I'm talking about, even in 2024, even the father, mother may be highly educated. We have the case studies now of Disha here. They think that if you're not married up to a certain age, as a parent, you are a failure. So what happens, even though she has done the STEM subject, she has become a professor, she has become an engineer, she has become a doctor, very less they go on to occupy the position for what they have worked for. I'm not talking as a general, I'm just talking about the rule, what is happening in a traditionally modern society like India. That is why in IIMs, in IITs, in science institutes, you have abysmally low professors ranked women teachers. We do not have them, even in India, even in this 21st century. The problem with women is that we have skill, we have knowledge, we have attitude, we have the family support, we have everything. We think our job is a job and it is not a career. When you think your job is a job, just get the salary, go back home. And you do not take it as a career, you do not take your life as a teacher seriously. If you want to take your life as seriously, research is very, very important, which changes the complexion from a job to a career. I'm sure you all of are so intelligent and very enabled people here that you will understand what is the difference between job and a career. Many times we do a job because we are forced to do a job. We are forced to do that work, but career is our own choice. I want to develop. I want to do something. I want to contribute to the society. I want to contribute to my gender. I want to contribute to myself. Because when I am strong, as India always believed, the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi, believes, when you educate a woman, you educate the entire society. When you educate a man, you educate the family. When you educate a woman, you educate the entire country. Education of women is very important. That is what How long, how much seriously do we take ourselves? I feel basically me being a beneficiary of this, being a victim of this and everything. Initially, I took my job as a job, Professor. When I started thinking of myself, am I meant only to do this, just teach and come back? Am I not meant to write and publish? Am I not meant to do research? Am I not meant to do mentoring to others? Then I changed my opinion about being a job holder to a career person. And trust me, my life changed. That is where we get motivated by one person to the other. We come to the next one, and this is what we call as we become effective researchers. How many of us are members of the institutional important bodies, including Colmex? I want the students to do a research on this. There are many important organizations in Colmex, right? How many women are there in the committee? Do the institutions' rules and bylaws tell that this many women has to be there? I don't know about Colmex. I know about my universities. Many universities like Indian Institute of Technology, Indian Institute of IIMs in India, nil. You have seen the table, right? There is nobody woman in important organization. So Indian government have made it compulsory, particularly in the sexual harassment cell, what we have there, that women has to be a member of the committee. I don't know how far other universities do. National and international research communities. How many of us occupy the very important post in the national and international research bodies? How many of us? And why do you claim that I want to become a professor? You're neither a member of any body, you are neither publishing, neither you're doing research. Then who will promote you? Who is going to promote you? First make yourself capable of doing, and then you claim, give me this post. I am capable, as equally capable as a man who comes with me. This is where we lose out. We don't equip ourselves with the right weapon. If we equip ourselves with the right weapon, like one of them is research area, where women are doing so abysmally low. We do not do research. We feel research is not for me. Okay, but this is how we are. If you do research, then only you will get the senior positions in the universities. It is granted, it is guaranteed. Even then there is a competition. But at least you will know to raise your voice and say, I am a member of this committee, I have published this paper, I have done this research, I have mentored this many students towards my PhD. I think so that will give you a lot of leverage. Well, this is, I've just given sources of research funds vary. How many of us know how many research bodies are there? I'm talking about India, research funding bodies. If you don't know what is the research funding bodies in my country, how can I become a researcher? How can I apply for a fund? How can I do my project? How can I publish my book? How can I go abroad to attend a conference? I must know, right? What is University Grants Commission giving me the travel grant? If I don't know about a travel grant, I've seen many of my colleagues asking me, how do you go every second year abroad to present a paper? I said, come on, there is something called as travel grant given by University Grants Commission. Apply it, you will get it. If you don't get it, apply next year. You may not be capable of it. Apply. Many of us don't even know where to apply to get the funding. Many of us don't know there are bodies in India which are sitting with funds which are lapsed at the year end, at the academic year, because there was no takers at all. Must have takers are there, only the men. Women have not applied at all. Why they have not applied? Ignorance. Don't blame the system at that time. Blame your own ignorance at that time. Today, what is not available on the net? What is not available on the Google? Why don't you sit, instead of watching those videos, instead of laughing away at the jokes, why don't we sit down when you are young at the career, and find out what are the bodies which are giving us the funding. We are not serious about our own self. Why do you want the other to become serious? There's so many. In India, I have given you a lot of foundations. There are 4 foundations. There is so many foundations are there. There is a Fulbright foundations are there. There's so many. I am a Fulbright foundation. I am a beneficiary of the Fulbright Foundation. I have come to, now Professor was telling about Florida. I have come to Florida as a visiting professor from Ford Foundation, from Fulbright Foundation. I knew about it. I applied. 3 times I was rejected. 4th time I got it. I was very vehement that why others can get, why not me? If I'm not getting it, maybe something is wrong in me. That is why they did not select me. 4th time, after publishing the papers in international journals, refereed journals, I had very good referees, and I got that. So this is how one has to be at it to get what you want for yourself to climb the ladders of the higher education. Knowledge about research funding sources, it is a very much important for a woman. How many of us know that we can collaborate with foreign universities and organizations? How many of us know? Ford Foundation, you can collaborate with them. You can collaborate with British Council. We can collaborate with so many Max Miller Bhavan to go to Russia. So these are all things which we can do. But for that, we have to be ourselves very knowledgeable about it. How many of us know there are so many associations in India run by the government that they call for scholarships, they call for fellowships. I keep on, even at this age, I look out for any opportunities are there. Even I apply. I may not get it. There are many youngsters who may be better than me, but so what? But so what? I will apply. At least applying tells me, Dr. Das, you're capable. Apply, because the criteria is more than, the criteria are less than what you have it. As I told you, youngsters are overtaking today, but so what? I am also running along with the youngsters. So this kind of motivation is very much essential for the women to climb up the higher education folios. Here I want to say about peer recognition, national and international. Why research is so important for a woman's career. You get peer recognition. Now, Professor Matthias, if he knows I have published in his area, as he publishes regularly, his respect for me will also increase. And saying that, oh, she has also published in this. Let us collaborate with her. Let me collaborate with him. Let me write a joint paper with him. Joint papers, collaboration, recognition, national level, international level, very, very important. You need to do this. You need to do these things. Otherwise, if you do not do this, you will not have a self-worth. If you do not have a self-worth, why will the other people take you seriously? First, you try to give importance to yourself. Linear progression. Just, excuse me. Just growing is not enough. You have to also have to be supervisors for the teachers who are below you and the mentors. You have to be a mentor. You have to be a mentor for the people who are coming after you, because you don't want them to face the same problem as you have faced, because you did not have a mentor. There was nobody to mentor you, nobody to guide you. Why don't you do the same thing? Instead of doing what the others have done to you, why don't you become a mentor for the students who are coming after you? That gives you exposure to yourself, that also gives you exposure to the others in the field. Excuse me. There are 2 kinds of reasons why it is important to the career of a woman, intrinsic reasons and eccentric reasons. The intrinsic reason will be these all. If I want to change my position in the society, I should do the research in the society. It's socio-economic problem, because you come to know the problems besetting other women in the society. Then you become one with them. Then you understand the problem of the others. If you're in a social science, either you're in a social science faculty or you're in a science faculty. Same it is. Because unless you understand the problems of others, you will not be able to solve the problem for yourself. Self-development. I would like to talk about these two things. Straight road and winding road. For a man, it is always linear. He joins as an assistant professor, becomes an associate. I'm talking from Indian point of view. You have the associate professor, then you have got the head of the department, then you have the dean of the entire faculty, then you have the rectors, then you have the rector will be always at the topmost, the peak of the pyramid, and you go on growing. For a man, the growth is linear. For a woman, it is a very winding road for her, because she joins as an assistant professor. She takes a break because of her family, because of her childbirth. She has a drop of 5 years. It is a usual cases in India. She takes a drop. And in that 5 years, the men who joined with her, they have already overtaken her. Why do you blame him? He has already become an associate professor. You are still an assistant professor. He has done his research. He has done the publication. He has gone PhD. He has gone up. What have you done? I am not saying what have you done. You have looked after your family. You have taken a break. That is why a woman's career path is never linear. It is always a winding path for her. So imagine how many compulsions are there for a woman academician as it is there in the other field also. But if you are happy with what you have, the position in the university, if you are happy but let us not crib then let us not complain. And let it be that we are happy with our winding path, let the men take the linear path. So this is a very important, you can do a lot of research on the winding path and the linear path, reasons why women do not grow up. Well, I just gave you the recent statistics here. India has got the highest number of higher education institutions in the world, according to, and out of 100 QS, the quality universities, what we have here, 7 out of 100 belong to India, and the world university record this is the world university record, 2023. Number of girls students, 10 point, half of them are girl students. Number of girl students in STEM, I was just telling you, STEM is science, technology, engineering, and maths, and girls outnumber boys. Number of faculty teachers, 43% are female out of 15,51,000, but most of them are assistant professors. They are demonstrators. They are guest lecturers. They are part-time teachers. I give you an example of one university, one of the premier universities in India, Jawaharlal Nehru University, a very premier elite university in India from New Delhi. And I just got this. And this I have taken from my mentor's study, Dr. Karuna Chanana's. And it is, here you can see, assistant professors, women are more than the men. And it goes up to professors, it becomes less and less. Women, out of 394, 25% are just women. Similarly, you could undertake an exercise for your department and university. If any students are interested, you can hand over this to them as a part of the study. This is a very important one. These are all taken from the portals, which I got for you too. I will share it with the professor. You can take it from him. And here, I guess I already shared with you my PPT. 16% women undertake research, world 30%. In India, only 16% of women undertake research. Imagine, from 94% in primary, we have come down to 15%, 16%. Women are high in numbers in the undergraduate level, till they become undergraduates. When they teach in the undergraduate level, women are more than the men. But when it goes to the university, number comes down. There is a drastic fall. Men publish more. Simple. So get promoted. Women teachers in India publish less. And look at the percentage. This is Times Literary Supplement. 0.09%. And I was just reading the other day an article on publishers, women writers, Times Literary Supplement. If 100 books are written by women, only 3 books are reviewed. Reviewed. And if it is not reviewed, the 97 books are waylaid. 3 books are reviewed. Who reviews them? Men review them. Times Literary Supplement, New York, tells this. Women writers, they write more than the men, mind you. They write more than the men. I was surprised, I was telling myself, Dr. Das, mind you, it is women write more than the men, but reviewed only 3 out of 100 books. And what is reviewed is important because you bring out what is the strength in the book. And the review mostly is done by the men. Even to review, you do not have the women in the board. I'm not talking only about India, I'm talking, even in India, women writers are more than the men. They are some of the best sellers in India, more than the men. But what happens when it comes to the education field? What happens to them? Why they do not progress? You can also do the similar studies for Mexico and find out the percentage of research publication of women faculties and your students. In Columbus, you can do it. How many women students publish? How many boys publish? Students. How many teachers publish? How many male professors publish? I'm sure the result is going to be not a very happy one, because you will see the mirror on your face and say that this is it. But again, I tell you, it's no use to blame others. It is to blame ourselves. Why don't we do it? I go to another one. What are the aim strategies you can do as a woman? You can do as a departmental level. You can do it at the institutional level, national level, international level. You can give your input. You can do your actions there. And at the personal level, first you do at the personal level, then you can go to the other levels. Let the charity begin at home. You do it at the personal level and find out what are you doing as a social role player. Are you doing it? Are you doing it for yourself? Are you mentoring somebody? Are you motivating somebody? Is it not your duty to motivate the other students in the college or in the university, you being a woman teacher? But for that, you need to empower yourself first. We will have the first case study today. Please read that. And there are certain questions asked I will be asking to you. Let us discuss. I won't ask anything. It is an interactive session. There's a case study of Isha. Shall I just read this out to you so that it becomes interactive so you can answer to me? Yeah, later? Oh, you can read it. Yeah, you can. Please read it out.
So also for the people joining online, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them on the chat of the YouTube streaming. So this is case study 1. Isha was studying in an English medium private school known as public schools in India, in New Delhi, India's capital city. Her father was a high-ranking professional and her mother, a postgraduate in social sciences, was a homemaker. She had a brother who was older than her by 2 years. Both of them were toppers in their classes. Her brother wanted to become an engineer. So did the parents. He got admission to the Indian Institute of Technology, the IIT, in New Delhi, one of the most sought-after engineering institutions, and he became an engineer. Isha was a gold medalist in higher secondary and had taken physics, chemistry, and biology. She wanted to become a medical doctor, but her parents discouraged her from doing that. So the questions that Dr. Das is leaving to us are the following. Why did the parents not want her to take up medical education and become a doctor? What subjects did the parents want Isha to study? What should she do? What did she do? Would you like me to continue the reading, or do you want to stop in the questions?
One or two questions we could ask them. What should she do now if the parents forbid her from going for medical or engineering as she wanted to do? She's a gold medalist. Now, what should she do? Like, I take it up if my daughter want to do it. I am a postgraduate. Now, both her parents are highly educated. Now, imagine, if it is uneducated, the parents do not understand the value of education or the dreams of a child. Now, what should we do? What would you do if Isha was your daughter? This is again supporting your
Checking
girls
also.
because she is the next professor.
I will also check online
Yes.
through my cell phone. So because my students are here, and I told my
Yeah,
students
sure.
never to use cell phones on their classes.
Okay.
I'm just telling you.
Yes, ma'am.
So anyway, what should Isha do? Any opinions about this?
She should do.
Or any of the questions,
She
right?
should do as she wants. She should do what she wants to do. She should study to become a doctor. But I guess her parents don't want her to spend so much time studying because being a doctor takes about 8 to 10 years, and she will not be in her prime for marriage, I guess. I'm not sure.
I feel here, ma'am, that societal image plays a very important role. Like, girl has to be educated for the education's sake. Not a girl has to be educated to go out and earn the money, because for the prime importance of a girl is that she has to be intelligent, she has to be educated. Yes, she has a degree, she is a gold medalist. But becoming a career woman is, I think, I'm talking about the Indian scenario, or it could be somewhere else too, that what she should do. Yeah, it's very nice to say, yeah, she should do what she wants to do. It is her life, her dream. But is it so easy to go, leave the home and go? Can she leave the house? Can she pursue her dream? Can a boy do that? Yes.
What I think is, when we say what she should do, the question is already a problem itself, because it is so easy to say what others should do, but when we see the whole case study, she has not that many options. So when we say what should she do, we are asking maybe the wrong question. Maybe we should ask, what should her parents do? What should her teachers do? Because she has not surroundings that allow her to make that choice. So I believe that by doing that question, we are putting all the responsibility on Isha. And as a woman, of course, and as a disabled person, sometimes it is not really your choice. Even if you have a supposed choice, the possibility to do what you want is also losing all your support. And when you don't have the means, losing that support means also that you will never get there, even if you choose to do it. So I think the question is already a problem in itself, because Isha has not really, she doesn't really has a choice.
Yes, by putting this question itself, we have limited her choice, right?
Yeah.
And here, I also would like to say that many societal do's and don'ts come into place. As I told you, India is a very traditionally modern society. Many do's and don'ts come into place, like, you are a good girl. Good girl. A good girl always listens to her parents. A good girl always will do as her parents want her to do. A good girl will study what her parents want her to study. Now, if she goes against her parents' wish, You mean to say Isha is a bad girl? How we are putting, I totally agree with her. The question itself is so constricting, that we say, what should she do? She has no choice. If she has a choice, then she has to leave the house, she has to be a rebel, she has to go out of the house. Are there not girls who do this? Yes, there are girls who do that. They go out, they live their dreams. But we are talking about the general case studies of higher education in the Indian scenario. In the Indian scenario, where educated parents themselves constrict their girls. If it was a boy, Isha's brother went on to become engineer in IIT, one of the premier institutes. He was not stopped. Why Isha? What did she do? What did she do, Professor? You have to tell me, what did she do?
I wanted to add something about what
please
should
tell me.
she do?
Yeah.
I was thinking about this networking that you mentioned, and I think also, even if you're not in academia yet, there's some networking you can do. Maybe a student wanting to study something can talk to the professors in her high school or something like that to convince her parents.
Exactly.
That would be some sort of networking.
I liked her part of her response. She said the teachers could help her.
You mentioned it.
Yes, that is what is called as mentoring. That is what is called as mentoring. You're very right. They could have called her parents, made them sit down, and who should have? It should have been a woman teacher who should have called and told the parents, look, allow your daughter to go. Look at me, how I am in this position. What will happen if your daughter becomes a doctor? This kind of motivation, this kind of bystanding, hand-holding is very, very important. That's where the teacher failed as Isha's motivator, mentor. Am I right? Right, Professor? You want to say something?
I wanted to add that.
Can you use the mic so everyone in the online people can? No, if you use that
it's
one,
okay.
people will listen to
So-
you. Sorry.
I just wanted to add that I see very commonly but there's girls that do it, but you don't know what kind of strength or support those girls have. And we should not be admiring the ones that manage to do it. We should be giving conditions for everyone to do it. Because it's like when you use motivational porn for disabled people. Okay, there are these disabled people that manage to do so much, but it shouldn't be their strength or the resistance to the system that gets them there. They should be allowed to get there because they are a person and because they have the abilities to get there, not because they fought hard enough. And I believe that is a very common saying, she fought for this, and we can admire her, but she shouldn't have to fight for it because it's her right. So there's also that, she can do much, but there's also this thing we forget that she shouldn't have to. That's.
I will be a rejoinder here. Why should we always fight to get our place and our wants? Is it the same with the boys? No. Why it is only with the girls? Why? The question comes into me. Isha is a young girl. What, Professor? Do you agree with me? Yeah? You agree with me? Because, see, I have two boys. I have two he-hos. But when they wanted to follow their career path, my son is a pilot. He's in the aviation, he's a captain. My elder son, he is a software engineer. He is a quality control in HP. And whatever they wanted, they followed their dreams, And in fact, my elder son wanted to become an automobile engineer. My husband did not want. He wanted him to become an ENC, electronic and communication. My son, he said, okay, Dad, whatever you want, I will do it. It was fulfilling the wishes of his father. And we felt so happy. Oh, my son is listening to us. We took it up as a feather in our cap. See, the way parents are also so much at wrong, We should have told him, okay, you want to become an automobile engineer? Go ahead and do it. That's what my younger one did. He said, I'm done with my civil engineering. I want to become a pilot. I want to go. He stood his ground and he got it. Could Isha stand her ground? Could be, as she said, could be, but she has to fight for it. She has to work for it. Why things come so easily to a boy and not to a girl? Questions. I can talk because I'm on the other side of the fence, as you say. In India, having 2 boys is a big feather in the cap. If I had girls, probably I wouldn't have spoken that. Even now, highly educated society, highly evolved society, highly advanced society, somewhere in our mind we feel girls should toe the lines what is given by their parents. And this is what happens to Isha. And that goes on affecting her higher education also, though she is a gold medalist. Yes, Professor. Shall we continue? Any questions online?
Maybe we can follow with
Yeah.
these questions, which are much deeper, I think. So Isha tried her best to convince her parents to change their mind. They did not. So she took admission in the SC Home Science. After completing the MS in Home Science, she was again discouraged from continuing her doctorate studies. Isha was very keen to follow a career. She became a college lecturer and ultimately got married and started a family. So the 3 questions we have in this case, which are a bit more complex, I guess, is what message do you get from Isha's acceptance of her parents' choice? Do you see a role for yourself in helping young women students overcome the socialization and attitudinal barriers to the pursuit of subjects, degrees of their choice? And what is the link between social role perception, women's aspirations, and parents' expectations with reference to higher education of their daughters? Yes, I find definitely the second one to be very insightful, right, for us as professors here.
I think we have answered that second question. Do you see a role for yourself in guiding the students? You know, if a girl comes with this kind of problem, my father is not allowing me to go for higher education. Do you see a role for yourself as teachers of the university? Would you call the parents and try to make them understand? What if Isha is a girl? Allow her to go for higher education. She was not allowed to go. She was allowed to go and she became a college teacher because it is a very nice, cushy job in India, becoming a college teacher. You go from 10 to 5 and come back home and look after your family. And teacher's job in India is highly respected. Let me tell you today from here, from this portal. Teacher's job, whether you're a school teacher or you're a college or an university teacher, highly respected job. The moment you say my daughter is a teacher in the college, her marriage prospect goes up because India still believes in arranged marriages. So you feel very proud. The father feels very proud to say, my daughter is a professor, is a teacher in the college, you know. And oh, what does she teach? Wow, she teaches this. Oh, very nice. MSc is science faculty. So she teaches. But she teaches home science. Home science is how to manage the home. So the parents were very happy when she took up home science because she took something very feminine. So when she takes up something very feminine, she is very true to herself. So this is how things pan out in India. I think so we have answered this, one of the question. And one question I would really like to answer, we have answered this already, but what is the link between the social role perception, women's aspiration, parents' expectation? These 3 are connected. Society, parents, and herself. Are they connected? Are they somewhere regulating her thoughts? Are they somehow motivating her to do, well, I won't say the word motivated. If she was motivated, she would have become a doctor today. Are they trying to constrict these 3 factors, parental, societal, and in her mind, her personal? What do you agree with me, Professor?
Yes, no, I definitely agree. I was thinking about what we can do as professors to also do workshops, maybe for young students, right? Young female students.
Exactly.
Needing to
I would
choose.
suggest, you're very right. Thank you. Can I take it from here, what
Yes,
you
yes, of
said?
course.
I think so you should be having a workshop here for the girls and take these case studies. I'm sure with little change, this scenario must be same in Mexico too. The same in Mexico too. and you could just change according to your society and your structure of the university. I think the girls could be motivated to do what they want to do. But again, is there a relationship between the social pressure, parental pressure, and her own desire?
I think sometimes our higher education becomes more of an ornament to sell us and to show us off.
Absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
and I see it
yes.
with our parents. It's like, my daughter has a master's degree.
Exactly.
Oh, my daughter, but it's not because you're smart or because they're proud. It's because they can show you off.
Exactly.
And I believe that happens a lot, and even more in a society where arranged marriage is so common.
Absolutely.
Because it becomes like an accessory to that woman. Instead of being an integral part of her life, it becomes something that makes her a better, a better option for marriage. So I think there's
A sellable product.
yes, like we are selling those. You said a sellable product.
No, you know, exactly what you said is the ornamentation, you know.
Yes.
The father and the mother, they try to, like, you know, oh, look at my daughter. She has done her PhD on violence in Uganda. Where was that? Rwanda. Oh, your daughter, did she go to Rwanda? You know, my immediate question to her was, did you go to Rwanda? You know, I scolded myself. I reprimanded myself. Why did you ask her the question? Like, you know, if it was a boy, I wouldn't have asked it. Oh, you're a girl. Did you go to Rwanda? You know, this kind of societal stereotyping of girls. Can a girl go to Rwanda alone? You know, it came into me, maybe because I'm an Indian, because it came into, oh, did you go alone? Thank God I didn't ask her that question, you know. I just asked her, did you go there? You know, as you said, it is like telling to everybody, look at my daughter, she has done this research, she has done this STEM, she is a mathematic. In India, mathematic professor, a lady must be, she is very intelligent. There are two problems with this. There is a very unique problem. She won't get any boy to get married because the boy will think she is more intelligent than me, you know. No, to be on the lighter side, this is, but what I'm trying to send is that things have changed in India, of course. So what I'm saying is just some examples I'm giving you. But in the higher education sector, there are many Ishas who are not doing what they want to do. And even if they want to do, they are assistant professors. They don't go up. Because Isha has got to start a family. And if Isha has to start a family, she has to look after the family. And then in the course of that 5 years or 10 years, Isha's classmate, who is a boy, he has gone up. Why do you blame that boy? It is the societal pressure. Or Isha herself must be very happy having a family herself. Because I am one of them. Like 5 years, 10 years, I did not do anything. I did not do anything. I just brought up my boys. But when I saw my boys have become so wonderful, I congratulate myself. Because for me, my career was secondary. For me, my boys' future were the primary. That is very important factor for a woman. In spite of that, we have to grow in the education sector. So what a big askance for a woman here. Fight against yourself, fight against your desire, fight against your career, and still you want to maintain the position in the university. Let us not blame anybody else. It is the systemic failure and also your failure at that time. So here we have, I think so, here very important one which I would like to complete this case study with Professor. Number one is over. So we get this, how higher education girls are not able to, no linear progression for her. She has to have a curved path. I draw your attention to these sessions. Why are we doing this session today? Particularly women and research. I told you about network, net worth, become members of the professional bodies. Ask yourself what professional body you are member of. Then you ask, why am I not growing in my profession? These are very important today. Increase publication on research front. It's very important because I give you 3 very important words of these capacity building workshops where I am a beneficiary, a huge beneficiary of it. Because of that, I travel international, delivering this kind of workshops, and this is being visible, mobile, decibel. Visibility, mobility, decibelity. I would love to listen to you. What do you mean by these three wonderful words in the higher education where women need to be more visible, more mobile, more decibel? Visibility. Simple. You need to be seen in conferences and in seminars. It is said in India, wherever there is a STEM conference, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, the participants in the audience of women, you can count 1, 2, 3, 4. In a room of 500 participants, you can just count maybe half a dozen women. Why? No visibility. If you are not visible, how will people recognize you? Am I right? You have to be visible. Come on, make your presence felt. You're not even going where it really counts. Mobile, mobility. We prefer coming to college, teaching, sitting in the car, getting back home. Our mobility is restricted only to the area of activity and to the house. We don't believe in moving around and visiting because there are constrictions. Like I could not go to conferences in the beginning because my boys were small, kids. How could I go? When they grew up, then I went. I went to US, I went to Indonesia, I went to present the papers in the Rotary International in Ecuador. When did you do, Dr. Das? You did it when the kids were already in their professional colleges. You lost 15 years of your career. But no regrets for a woman because she feels happy when the kids are well settled. But could I not have done both? A question comes to me now. Could I not have done both? Today I could have been the rector of an university. I lack nothing than a rector of an university. I have done enough publication, I have done enough research, I have guided enough people, students towards the research. I am a motivator. I have conducted numerous workshops. I have chaired numerous international conferences all over the world. Then why? Why am I not a rector? You know, these questions are so very important. We had a SAM workshops having rectors with us in India. When we question this, you know, it is not that we don't lack anything. It is only thing is that we are not mobile. Visibility, mobility, decibelity. What do I mean by decibelity? Can we add to this?
Maybe informal networking or something.
Decibelity, informal networking. Yeah, very nice. Informal in the sense, Professor, what do you mean?
Going for a coffee.
Yes, you're right. You're right. No, I'm coming to that. You are very right. You are very right. This also adds to your networking. Going for a coffee, going for a dinner. I'm told, I have read many times in Indian higher education scenario, when the Vice Chancellor calls for a party, the lady goes only as a token. She goes and she comes back home before the party is over. Because she has to go, because she is the dean of the faculty, but she doesn't stay long, she comes back. Because she doesn't want to be decibel. Decibel is decibelity, talking. Unless you ask, you don't get. Unless you demand, you don't get. You ask it, you get it if you deserve it. But deserving is important, not just because I want to become a rector. Oh, come on. It is not that easy to become a rector. But are you capable? If you are capable, become decibel. Decibel, vociferous. Want it. Say you want it. And if you want it, if you deserve it, you get it. What we women do, we are capable. We are neither visible. We do not attend conferences. We do not attend seminars. We don't, and when you don't attend conferences and seminars, you're not mobile, you don't go for a cup of coffee. I don't say that cup of coffee gets you the post, but that adds to it. That adds to it. And then, I think so by nature, women do not go for a bonhomie kind of a backslapping thing, you know. We don't do that. Maybe this is in our inherent character. And second is the last one is disability. I love that word, you know, decibel. Come on, you tell. You speak out. Tell who you are. But to tell who you are, you have to be capable of that. Okay. This during Feria de Libro in Guadalajara, 25th of November, 2023. A few months back, I came here because of that. My book on former Prime Minister, Atal Bihari Vajpayee, his poems, my 51 poems, were translated into English, Spanish, Sanskrit, and Kannada. And all by renowned writers in India. I have done the Spanish translation in English. One of my colleagues from in Mexico did it in Spanish, and the former police chief from my state, Karnataka, Dr. Guru Prasad, did it in Kannada, and a gentleman called as Anush Sharma from Sessions, he did it in Sanskrit. That book was released, a very high-profile release done by the senator, by Mara Niedse. She did it, and also the Honorary Consul General of India, Javier Orendain. He released my book on 25th of November. They asked me to speak on the book. And how did I speak? I made a big noise about it. Because if I do not do the noise, if I do not say it, that I have done it, nobody is going to bother about my book. Today that book is on Amazon. It will be coming in 15th of February on Amazon. It will come in Spanish and English. What do you say? You have it, you flaunt it. If you don't have it, how are you going to flaunt it? I always tell, you know, when I look at some girls having two beautiful legs, I said, come on, she has it, she flaunts it. You have it, you flaunt it. Of course, there is a limitation of flaunting. I'm telling about, you have it, you flaunt it. You have the characteristics in you to occupy the higher position in higher education. Equip yourself first. And when you equip yourself, tell the world. That is what is called as disability. But don't be hollow in your claim. Be sound in your claim. That is the most important, where we women lose out. We are not audible, we are not decibel, we are not mobile, we are not visible. This is an activity for the teachers and the students of Colmex. Professor, would you just give me some, can you read that?
So, for us to think, right? For us to...
Yeah.
Which conference have you attended in the past 3 years? Which professional association do you belong to? Are you active in professional associations? In what capacity? And what has been your contribution? Which committees, working groups do you belong to? What are the barriers to participation?
5 questions. Each question carries 5 marks. Score them yourself, be truthful to yourself, and see where you stand. If you stand very poor, then you have no business to ask to be promoted. I think so these are very important even for a man today. What have I done in the last 3 years? Have I attended any conferences? Am I right, Professor?
It's true. I think that also these are very good questions for men as well.
It is not only for women. It is also for I told you, there's no either or for me in my conferences, in my workshops. It is equal standing we have at these higher education policies, because you know how much I have worked for my PhD, because you have worked for it. Only thing, you may not acknowledge it because you're a man. Okay. No,
I do.
This is very important, right?
No, I understand. And also, like, why is this more difficult for women? Maybe it has to do with the fact that many of these things require social interaction, all this networking, like, for example, committees, working groups, etc. They can involve more social interaction.
Exactly. Now, Even students are the members of many committees nowadays, isn't it? Now, how many of the students can they question themselves, in which committee am I of this university? Which girls? Now, becoming a committee member of a fair or a fete is not important. You have a fete, right, in the college, in the university? You have a fair? Cultural activities, you know?
We do have some.
You have some. Okay, becoming member of that is very important for our social growth and our personal growth. There is something of the cultural side to me too. I also want to grow there. But serious committees, are you a member? Being a girl, being a woman. Decision-making bodies, am I a member of the decision-making bodies of the university? Finance committee of the university, is there a woman? Yes? Fine. If not, why? What are the barriers to participation? Why are you not a member of that group? Why are you not publishing? Why are you not going to conferences? What are your barriers? All of us have got barriers. Even men also have their barriers. Let me not say only women have barriers. I'm not putting them in a pedestal, the women, and saying, oh, they have got so many problems. Even men have problems. Now, you will score 5 points for each, that is 25, and see where you stand. This is a very serious, to yourself. Nobody's going to see it, but be true to yourself and do this. Kindly do this important, help you in a career growth in the higher education as a woman. Activity 2, we'll do this.
So read this.
Yes, yes, surely. Thank you for doing this. Yeah, I'm really enjoying it.
Just so you can rest a bit with your presentation. So case study number 2, visibility, mobility, and disability. This case study offers an example from India of the process that ensures that women are often denied equal opportunities of moving up within the university hierarchy. At any given university in India for faculty position, most of the men joined as associate professors, while women joined at a lower rank as assistant professor, though women were equally qualified. All had doctorate degrees, a considerable amount of teaching and research experience and publications. But women academicians have interruptions in careers for child-bearing and child-rearing, so they are not able to devote much time for professional development and networking. It was also found out that most of the meetings on crucial matters are held in the evenings that many women teachers miss due to the rushing home to meet family demands and do not participate in important discussions. Though these universities are gender neutral, they don't have gender impact. Women generally do not find themselves nominated to important committees, as these memberships are crucial for power and statement. A token representation to women in some committees is more of a passive nature. At the time of promotion, it is visibility, which comes through networking, publication, and professional development. Women's career thus tends to start at the lower end, move up slowly due to the lack of mobility, sometimes results in promotion against all odds, but ultimately culminate with retirement on very low salary. Women professionals are less decibel in informal networking at events after office hours.
No coffee time.
Coffee time, or beer time.
Yeah.
At all seminars and conferences, as visibility, mobility, disability are always linked to power.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we can go back to this concept, power. Informal visibility leads to formal recognition and appointments to important posts. Visibility, networking, and lobbying are crucial in the meritocratic form of education structure. Women are at disadvantage as they lack visibility, networking, and the lobbying attitude. So for discussion, we have a few questions. Does this situation look familiar to the participants, to all of you?
Before these questions, can I just,
yes. Sorry.
just put
Of
in?
course.
The new word has come there, lobbying. Lobby is a very, very, a woman doesn't like to lobby. No. It is something like, telling professor, can you tell her, please? Can you tell her to give me the post, Please put in a word. Please, can you tell?
She's a
Then-
great student, though.
Yeah.
So.
Then you tell me that, okay, I'll talk to her, but there's somebody else also I need to talk. Okay, can you please tell? A woman will never do that. Am I right, ma'am? A woman will never lobby. She is shy, she is reticent, and she will think, oh, I have got everything with me. I have got all the criterias with me. Why should I do the lobbying part of it? But a man never hesitates for lobbying because he has attended the evening parties, he has attended all the parties after office hour, he is holding a very important post in the organization of the university, he is also in the decision-making body, and in the decision-making body in the meeting, he has already done his lobbying. And in the evening parties, he has already said, amigo, there is an interview coming up tomorrow. Can you do something there? Am I right? A woman will never do that. First of all, she will not go there. And even if she goes, she will never tell her male colleague, can you put in a word for me? We lose out on lobbying. I don't know whether we are doing good or we are doing bad, but we are losing out on the moving up. Is there a way we could do lobbying too? Would I like to do that? Personally, I wouldn't. I will be proud of myself and say, no, I have got all the characteristics. I have got all the criteria for promotion. Why will the selection committee not select me? You know, that kind of putting already yourself in that position. We lose out. Lobbying is very, very important. So this question now, I asked you that lobbying. Now the question to you, does this situation?
Yes, does the situation look familiar to, well, everyone here, to the participants?
You think?
Should I read the four of them then? And
I
then
think
we can
so,
have
yeah.
interventions. So does the situation look familiar? How can women provide support to one another to become visible and get their dues? Should women adopt the male-style strategies to achieve the same results? Yes, no, and why? And the fourth one, are there some ways in which women can protect themselves from such situations and move forward in the higher education domain?
Yeah. Any one of these questions, who would like to respond? Yeah, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, I would like to give a response to C. Should women adopt the, no, sorry. How can women provide support to another to become visible and get their dues? Yes. Well, I think one way is precisely building networks, you know, like research networks and research groups, and making events to present the research and publish, and generally, you know, to build support networks for, you know, to move up in their careers. And basically, I think that's one of the strategies. And also, well, the C, should women adopt the male style strategies to achieve the same results? I think no, because,
No. Yes?
I mean, part of the problem is that, well, in the text that the professor just read, he was, well, one of the things that pops into, well, in the text is that women has the responsibility of the family, and that's why kind of, you know, we neglect our career because of that, and we should change that mindset, because the family should not be only the responsibility of the women, you know. It's not only what happens in the academic or in the institutions, it's also what happens with your partner and with your family, as, you know, your extended family, because you cannot raise your children by yourself, because, well, those children didn't come to the world only because of you. They also have a father that's also responsible of the kid, you know, so why should we take all the responsibility for them? So I think, yeah, I don't agree. I think we have to take different strategies, and we have to support each other as women to move up forward.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. It's a wonderful, wonderful response from you. May I know your name? Your name?
Victoria.
Hi, Victoria. You're a victorious girl. So it is nice, like for example, I will just interrupt, I will just come to you. I will just add to what you said. Like for example, you're from which faculty?
I'm doing a postdoc in history.
Postdoc?
Yes.
Congratulations. So you're doing in history. Now, when you go through some of the websites or you suddenly find some conferences which is happening in the humanities, right? Okay. Which is not your area of research. But you have a friend who belongs to the English department. But you come across a conference which is there in the English language somewhere, in Mexico or somewhere. The real mentor would be you telling your friend, see, I just came across a conference which is there in the English language. Why don't you go there? So what you are doing is you are developing a kind of bystanding, hand-holding, a mentoring for your friend. This is how it is a chain reaction. She will do it for somebody else. That is what we call as hand-holding. We have got a very nice activity here because we are not doing the activity today. It is just reading out. These activities are hand-holding. We tell everybody to hand-hold and tell to our next, oh, I'm doing my postdoc in history, but you are a professor from in mathematics. Professor, I was reading somewhere there is a conference of the mathematics. Are you going? Then you say, no, Dr. Das, I don't know. I will share the link with you. This is how a woman also grows along with a man. Even the man should extend. Then he should be telling me, Dr. Das, I heard something about there in India. Like, can I apply? I said, yes, professor, you can really come there. This is called as sharing and caring in the education field. I loved your sent. I loved what you said about motivating. And should we change our strategy? No. No. But if you say, I won't change my strategy, I won't empower myself, I won't do research, I won't publish, then you'll be happy being assistant professor. Then don't crib and say, why am I not the dean of the department? You can't say that. So either you empower yourself and empower others also. Thank you. Yeah, you wanted to say something? Ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
I think also something important is that it's important for women to not see other women as competition, right? And oftentimes, because of these statistics, right, of if we're thinking about, only 15% of positions in higher academia are available for women, then we see each other as competition, that in that small number, only a few of us are going to reach that. And so I think it almost becomes more of an issue between women competing with other women than with men particularly. So, and then from that, not seeing each other as competition and seeing each other as mentors and as fellow, academics. From there, I think wanting the voluntary sort of to want to network and want to raise other women up becomes more apparent instead of, seeing them as competition, because I think that often becomes more of an issue.
Absolutely. Yes, Professor. I also think that way. I just told you in the beginning, if you remember, women are more competitive. Men are more competitive, women are collaborators, and they are competitors. I feel this competition is there more between women and women than between the man and the woman.
I think it comes from the fact that women are marginalized, systematically.
Absolutely.
And so then the competition, so it's sort of the internalization of a sort of patriarchal system, right?
Absolutely.
That then makes us compete with one another. But yes, I think seeing one another as competition is really problematic and becomes more between women than women and men.
I have a very nice theory, I always say, as I just take ahead what ma'am said just now, competition. Women sometimes try to act like crabs. You know what is the crab mentality? Crab. If one crab tries to go up, scale up the wall, the crab which is just below, that crab will try to pull it down. It happens. I wouldn't say this happens with, again, no man-women discussion here. It is that a crab mentality, a competition does happen with the women too. So you face internal as well as external aggression for your growth. So not only you have to fight against the woman, you have also to scale against the system. I won't say man, it is the systematic failure where it says that only 30% of, at least good, the system is telling 30% of women will get the post. There are some universities or education, higher education, where there is no law formulated. In India, there is no law formulated in any higher education system that many professors should be women to get the job. It is there in the primary and in the secondary, it is there. India has got some of wonderful government initiative for girls. Wonderful government initiative. I was just delivering a lecture on women entrepreneurs at Lyon, Guanajuato last week. I was there and I had a house full of entrepreneurs. At least I had 50 entrepreneurs with me, and they wanted to know what was the position of entrepreneurs in India. And trust me, I told them the strategies adopted by the present government in encouraging women entrepreneurs. And they were really, and it is called, India is called as a success story today in women entrepreneurship. India is called as a success story today. And it is all in the course of the last 10 years. Why is this not happening in the higher education in university? Do we need this kind of programs to come back? CBWM, capacity building of women managers, why don't we bring them back? Because it got defunct in 2013. I think if it had continued for another 10 years, the entire scenario would have changed now. I would love to talk to the government, to the HRD, that is the Human Resource Development. They do much, much for women in India today. But I would really love to talk to them and say, bring back strategies, bring back, I don't say reservation, we don't need reservation. We need at least some provision to be made in the higher education scenario where women also can be given equal standing with the men, when they have the equal capabilities. If they don't have it, don't give them, don't promote them. But if they have it, don't deny them. You know, this is very, very important. And
also, I think that mobility is very difficult in academia as a whole. Mm-hmm. So changes take longer in academia, I guess, because people take longer to retire. So maybe promoting that.
It takes long to retire, yeah.
Promoting mobility in general in academia would promote or help women, fill some positions, I guess. I have that impression.
We need a very serious discussion on this front. Like, I don't know, it will be a question which I want to ask you. It's just my curiosity. Do you have such kind of capacity building exercise in higher education institutions in Mexico? I would like to know about it. Have you attended, ma'am?
Well, I'm pretty sure we don't have here, so it would be, an area of opportunity, I guess.
Do women question here, why am I not getting the rightful promotions in the university system?
I'm sure they are questioning this. They're making themselves these questions. I'm not sure if something is being done.
Oh, okay.
Specifically about this. So.
I think so. This awareness, that is what we call a SAM: sensitization, awareness, motivation. This is the beginning of it. Then TOT, training of the trainers. So one group, I am trained. I train the next group. Then the next group trains. As I told you, it is a wave-like thing, a cascading-like thing, and finally 7,500 women have capacity. Out of that, even if 2% get the post, they climb up. It is a successful program, and it was a successful program. Our program was very successful, started by Dr. Armeti Desai, but finally, of course, for reasons unknown, as usual, unknown reasons, it was discontinued. I hope it had continued.
I'm sorry about that. Was there a juxtaposition with the government change in India because of this changes in?
I wouldn't be able to comment on the politics of it. Okay. I would be able to comment on very sad part that it was discontinued. Because I am in the system. I am an university. I teach postgraduates. I was teaching postgraduate. I'm no longer now teaching. I teach the postgraduates. And when it was discontinued, I know many of my colleagues, they were so disappointed. Man, let's have another SAM workshop. We really had that 5 days when we went home, when we came for 5 days, Professor, most of the women participants, and we have only 20 women participants. We don't have more than that because it has to be a small group, effective group. But before they came, some of my colleagues were telling me, "Arey yaar, 5 days workshop, I have to leave my family and go. Who will look after my kids?" All mid-level academicians, I have to leave my family, my son is studying this, that, and all. It is a waste of time coming here. What should I do? Trust me, every participant, after 5 days, they said, "We are a transformed human being today." We learned so many, me, I'm not telling about others, I'm telling about me. I am a beneficiary. The way I transformed my life, my academic life, because I was serious about my career. I am not a job holder, I am a career person. The way after 5 days, I was thinking, where am I standing? What am I doing? No research, no publication, no networking. What am I doing? Let me also do something, keeping my feminine qualities intact, because I'm very proud to be a woman. Keeping my feminine qualities intact, let me be a professional, let me be a career person, let me see what I can do to grow up the ladders of the higher education. I did it. And there are so many women like me. I'm not the lone person. India is a big country with a huge population, 1.4 billion, highest in the world. So many women like me were motivated to go out of their comfort zone, you say that, isn't it? A cotton wool existence. We went out of a comfort zone, and today we could do a lot of changes in the higher education sector. So as you asked me, is it a political change? I wouldn't be able to talk on that because UGC comes under the government, University Grants Commission, and I was a government employee. So I wouldn't like to comment on that. But I think so, Professor, it is not, government does what it has to do. I feel even institution has to take up the initiative to do what it has to do. Because whatever the institution suggests, ministry takes it up. Whatever ministry suggests, government is very, very intelligent and very, very sensitive to understand the need of 48 power, the power of 48. That's what I call India, the power of 48, what it can do. You know, it's a very important question. You asked me, and I hope I replied to you as a correct diplomat.
Very, very diplomatic answer.
Because remember, I'm a former diplomat. Okay. Now you have an activity. Yes, Professor.
Oh, yes, I think these were the questions that we read before. I'm going to read them again. I think they were on the screen before. So just think about this, right? Like to put together information about yourself and other women faculty in your department, about research grants received during the last 3 years.
You can do it according to department-wise and also according to your faculty-wise. You could really ask the questions to everybody, as you said, irrespective of the man or the woman teachers there, during the last 3 years.
B, research publications in referred journals and books. C, important memberships in education bodies and organizations. D, number of research papers presented in the last 3 years at conferences and seminars. And E, what are the suggestions to change the mobility, visibility, and visibility of women academics in the research promotion domains?
Very important, pertinent questions with this workshop. You could answer it on your own and find out where we stand. Do it individual-wise in your department, in your faculty, and then you can compare and contrast with the other departments and faculty. Oh, that department had so many publications. What is my department doing? And not only what is my department doing, what is my contribution to my department? You can't blame your department if you are also not doing anything. You are also part of your department. So can I do something? Why not we better our academic forays? Can we do something? So it is a group activity between the men and the women professors. And we find them, as we say, comrades in our growth. Men are the comrades in our growth. And so should be the institution. You can do this and make a list for yourself. This is the activity which I wanted you to do because of the workshop. And We do this in a group way. We make, if 20 people are there, we make a group of 5 and make the round table there. We sit round and in a circular, and then we come out with we make they make themselves the leader of that group. And it's so funny to see a woman who comes from a rural area, she becomes the leader of that group. Yeah, and I don't know, I'm sure it happens here, that snob attitude. Oh, I'm from that university in India, Oh, I'm from a small university in India. It happened with me, because I'm from a very small town in India. I'm from a big university in a small town in India. But I'm not from that elite institute in India. And those ladies were trying to, as if we don't know anything, they know. See, the competition, as you said, she said it so well. The competition is between the ladies and the ladies. Oh, you come from that university? Ah, I come from this university. That kind of putting you down. And finally, we see in the group who becomes the leader. And we see a woman from a small town becoming the leader and talking on behalf of all the 4 or 5 people there. Leadership quality is enhanced in this SAM workshop. To her own surprise that, oh yeah, I also can lead a group of 5. If I can lead a group of 5, how long it takes to me to lead a group of 35,000 students of an university? It only needs the motivation, the awareness, and some mentor. Mentor is also needed. And that's what is the thing. These are the 2 workshops, activities of the workshops connected with research, because I feel, according to me, my personal view, we lose out in the higher education domain because we do not do, as a teacher, what we are supposed to do. We do not empower ourselves. We do not capacitate ourselves. These workshops can only infuse in you motivation, infuse in you faith in yourself. But what has to be done is to be done by you and me. It is an individual motivation. After 5 days of the workshop, out of 20, maybe only 5 were motivated. 15 were not motivated at all. But okay, even 5 is a good number. So these are the capacity building strategies. I have made it our 5. I will just talk about, understand various logistics. Now, women are very good at writing, delivering lectures. Basically, I don't know, many women participants or the viewers may disagree with me. Women are not good at funds managing. They are not good at fund managing. They don't understand the nitty-gritties of the fund management of an university. Okay, you give me the post, I will do it. There's no problem. But do you think, ma'am, we run away from this kind of financial responsibility of the institution? Whereas we manage the funds at home very well. We are very good managers. But if a post of a registrar or a finance committee chairman is given to me, will I hesitate? That's why we have something called in India as NAC, N-A-A-C, National Assessment Accreditation Council. Every college, higher education institution in India has to be accredited with A+, A, B, C grade. If you get C and B grade, your fundings are stopped by the University Grants Commission. You cannot run the college for 3 years because there are certain criteria. There are criteria there. This year, when I was the coordinator, when my college got an A grade and A+ is the highest. Mine is a minority college. In India, we have got many minority colleges where Christian institutions, Muslim institutions are called as the minority colleges. Where we have got a special called the gender audit now. Auditing is done of the gender. In the college level is fantastic. Even college teachers are more in number than the teachers. But in the university, it falls down. That's what we are talking. Now, my question to you was, if there is a finance chairman role for you to run the finances of the university, would you happily take it up? Do you have the wherewithals with you to look after the finances of a huge institution? As for me, I will hesitate because I do not understand the nitty-gritties of high finances. Another thing, I'm telling about myself. I feel scared. If something goes wrong, I will be blamed. Man never thinks that. He goes with confidence. Because he thinks he knows everything about finance. He may not know, huh? But a woman basically thinks, such great finances. Oh my God, if something goes wrong, I'll be blamed tomorrow. But there are women who are controller of examination, controller of finances today. They are the vice chancellors today. They are the deans today, holding interdepartmental finances in their hand. Women are doing it in India. But it is all because of the previous years of motivation. These are new things. These are all new things in the domain of higher education for women all over the world today. I asked you a question. Will you take it up very happily?
I don't know if very happily, but yes.
Why? Why?
I personally, I have taken some, I know how to manage finances. I
Fantastic.
studied architecture before I got into humanities, so I did manage projects and
Wonderful.
things. So yes, and I think
Awesome.
yes, and because I think it's not you're not starting from zero.
Exactly.
Okay, so you have to study what has been done before and just make some arrangements, and it's not like there's nothing there to build on. So yes.
Yeah. So you've already capacitated to take up that. We are talking about 95% of the women academicians who have not had that privilege of what you are talking today. Suddenly, if you tell that person, because she is senior, she has research, she has everything with her capability. She has everything. She has come to an interview now for the finance registrar of the university. We have the registrar who looks after everything, the finances and all. Now she has come there. Suddenly, as you have that equipments with you, she may not have. She'll be scared because somewhere that finance, a woman is really put off by. Because she thinks it is a very huge responsibility than leading the department or guiding a student for the research. I'm happy in my cozy world of books and libraries and publication and research. Who wants to get into all those kind of finances, you know? Because finance is an area which is open to a lot of kind of possibilities. Today, we have started in India called as the gender audit. Auditing, how many of us know auditing? I don't know for that matter. I will also stay away from the finances because though I handle my own finances and I'm big mess with my personal finances, so I will not handle the university finances. But there, to be on the serious note, that's where we lose out. Because we generally have that male domination over finances. We think that, but in India today, the finance minister is a woman, Nirmala Sitharaman. And she has been doing yeoman services in the finances of the country. Trust me, one of the best finance ministers we ever had in our country. And India is a huge country, and it is soon to become 5 trillion economy. Today, India is really shining, you know. It is a 5 trillion economy within 2030. That's what government is projecting. We are already 3 trillion economy today. So 5 trillion economy, and imagine today that government is led by a woman prime minister, a woman finance minister. Our President of India is a woman today. Honorable Her Excellency, Draupadi Murmu. Our President of India today, at this time I'm talking to you, she is a woman from the, she is from, as we call it as, she is from the indigenous, the tribal area, but what a woman. So my hats off to Indian government today. We have a finance minister who is a woman, who is the President of India who is a woman, but University Grants Commission, we always have a man. Why don't we have it? Please.
I just wanted to add, of course, she has the training, but I think there is also a part of us as women that things like, I already do it at home. and I don't want to do it again. At least for me,
Yeah, I
there
have
is a
enough
huge
done.
part about that, because I already have to deal with that, and all the time. And not only have I have to choose between my career and my family, but also they're asking me to do it twice. Like, at some point when you're like the head of a family, it becomes exhausting to do the same at your job. So you don't, personally, I would hate to do it. I would take the job because I believe women are better administrators than men, personally. But I would hate the job. I am sure about it. I would only do it if I thought it was the best for my community, but it wouldn't be like a pleasant job. And I believe a lot of women are already in
fair.
this
Exactly.
struggle all the time. So if I have to struggle to get a high position, and also I have to do something that is not my discipline, that is not my area, and that I don't enjoy, it becomes like such a huge load. Because, of course, you have to do way more to get there, and then you're way more judged when you're there. So I believe there's also
Judgment.
that part
That's what I
where,
said. The judgment is very important.
when you have a strong woman that is in a position of power, she's very criticized, she's very attacked, she has to deal with that, and also administrative positions in universities are also the positions no one wants. Like, no one wants to, or at least, as I say it, like, professors are not really keen on doing the administrative job. It's not their favorite, at least in humanities. So if you add on everything, I think it becomes quite a struggle to get there, and more if you're a woman.
Yeah, we have this, that's what I just told you. Is it like if given to me? I had enough problem in my growth. I have enough problem when I was the dean, I was the head of the department. I have listened to many complaints. Now if I have to take the finance of the university, you know, it is another big headache on me. But remember, money is power. You control the finance of the university, girl. Imagine, that itself should make you powerful. But as you said, inner fear. We have got lot of inner inhibition, or you say inhibitions in us. We think we are not capable, but we are capable. We think we are scared, but we are not scared. We think what people will think of us, people will not think anything of us. They have got better things to do. It is all our inner fear. It is all our inhibition which stops us from growing up the higher education. So this is a very important factor which I made it in blue, because logistics are very important of how to manage the fund. You know, every funding is done for the research. How to manage the fund, who should get the funding. Now, are you the member of the research committee of this university? Who gives the funding for the university? If you're not, then please ask for it. We should know about the copyright laws. We should know about the intellectual property rights, IPR. Let me not break my head over this. I'm happy being a researcher. I don't want to know all these IPR laws. Let the man know everything. It is his domain. See how we only put that man, poor man, into this one and say it is his domain. Who told? Did he tell you it is not your domain? Why are we telling it is a man's domain? See, this is how we only have got that social construct in us. IPR, patent, copyright law, disbursing and sanctioning of research grant, evaluation management, and management of research projects. Who is going to do all those headaches? I will do my research and get back home. Sir, sorry, I don't want to control the finance of the university. We should take ourselves seriously. Unless we take ourselves seriously, you cannot expect the institution to take you seriously. You have to do this. You cannot say, I want to become the dean, but the finance will be managed by the man here. No, if you are the dean, you manage it. You have the confidence, you can do it. Not that we don't have. When we can manage the funds at home, we can very well manage the funds here. It is on a bigger scale. Of course, there's no comparison, family money and the university money. But that you are capable. The only thing we are not aware of it. And you know what? We don't want to get into that water. We are very happy in our comfort zone. That's the problem with the woman. Problem is within us, not with anybody else. Come out of it. Be a mentor. She was telling, I would tell, and you are also telling, I would tell my friends. Mentoring is very important. Today I have been mentored by a group of 5 women in the higher education, highest education body in India. I have been mentored, and I'm so lucky. Like me, there are so many people who want to be mentored. Bring them out, mentor them. If you cannot do it, don't get jealous. Oh, I did not get it. Why should my friend get it? You did not get the fund, forget about it. Let your friend get it. You see the pleasure of it. You have helped somebody by mentoring them. Be a mentor. A man is a mentor of another man, but a woman is never a mentor of another woman. That's what I agree with ma'am. We are our own competitors. I always say, a woman is a woman's worst enemy. So let us stop blaming anybody else. Let us capacitate ourselves. Mentoring is a very important factor in the growth in the higher education sector. A few more questions to you. I always believe in giving a lot of questions. You carry home, because for me, workshop doesn't end with the closing of the door here. Workshop starts for you in your mind after you go home and you start thinking on this. Then only this workshop is useful. It should open the window to many researchers and many thoughts in your mind and many questions to be answered. I have been repeating this many times to you in this hall, that my PPT I have shared with your professor. It is not only here, I've shared it with him in the morning because I want him that everybody should benefit out of it. Though many of you are not here today, please do share, Professor, if they want it. And I would be very happy, even if 5 are motivated by my workshop, my traveling 19,000 kilometers from India to Mexico is done. I traveled 19,000 kilometers for 36 hours with 2 stopovers, one at Dubai and one at Barcelona. It's a long, long way off on the other side of the hemisphere. But I'm so happy to be with you people today. I've shared, and kindly share this PPT with whomsoever wants it. And if there is some mistake in the statistics, ask them to work on that and add the Mexican part of it. What are those? Can we read, Professor, little? I'll drink water.
Yes, and also the people online, we do have other people online that might be interested in the PPT, so they can write us directly. So the questions for you to leave this workshop thinking about are: what should be done at the departmental and institutional level, which will give women more opportunities and voice? What responsibility is it to ensure that women are represented in research, IP, patents committees, etc.? What are the barriers? What can you do to make it happen? And, well, the final suggestion will be to make an agenda for yourself to address these questions.
What can we do? What should I do for myself? Should I read the intellectual property right? Yeah, unless you read intellectual property right, you cannot do the publication in international journals. Otherwise, you will be caught up for the copyright, and they may pull you to the court. It is very important today. Plagiarism is not allowed today. What are the rules? What are the regulations? What can you copy? What you cannot copy? What can you quote? What you cannot quote? These are all the rules you should know as a researcher. Then only you can claim your position in the higher education system in any part of the world. Otherwise, just come, take classes, and go back. That's what I also did. Well, these questions will give you an agenda for yourself, because we are at the end of the conference. And as I told you, for me, my workshops are just the beginning. It opens the road to Camino. You say for road Camino? it opens up many caminos for future research. If you get into this, finding out the answers for this, your road to research has started. Because you get the answers and you question the answers again. Again you get another answer. Those answers all together becomes a research paper. A paper, if not a research paper. Do it, publish it in your journal in Colmex. I have some acknowledgements to make here, without which my visit shall be incomplete here. Colmex, the teaching faculty, ma'am, sir, the students, administrators, and I would personally like to thank Dr. Matthias Ariel Chiappe. Without him, this would not have been possible. And he was so gracious in answering to all my mails, maybe a bit late sometimes, but no problem. I understand his pressure in a higher education institution. He is a man. He has got a lot of responsibilities. But no problem, sir. With a lot of gratitude to you. Thank him for making it possible. I would also like to thank Ishita Banerjee, because it is she who gave me my contact with him and opportunity given to me to interact with you today. And none of my workshops, wherever I go, I do not fail to give my personal thanks, my gratitude to Dr. Karuna Chanana, former chair, Zakir Hussain Center for Educational Studies, a very important post. And in a very premier university in India, it is called as the Jawaharlal Nehru University, a premier institute. That's why people there have little nose in the air kind of a thing when we used to meet in the, but I never found Professor Dr. Karuna Chanana to be having, she's also very close to Ishita Banerjee. And she is my mentor. And she is there were five or six, I would be wrong in saying the number. She was one of the founder member of CBWM. One of the founder members in 2003. Oh, she was so active. She has trained us, and I consider her as my mentor. I consider her as my hand holder. She held my hand. Whatever she knew, she passed it on to me. And it is like I passed on whatever I learned from her to my next colleague. It is she hand holding, and I love this word, this phrase, bystander. She was beside me whenever I needed her help. Help in, ma'am, can I get the statistics? Ma'am, what should I do? I'm publishing a paper. Is this paper right? How do I do the refereed journal? Can you tell me the name of some journals for humanities? Can you just put in a word and tell me? But no lobbying, okay? We don't believe in lobbying. There's no lobbying. It is like bystanding by me and telling, even for this workshop, she has shared her entire chapter with me. And that chapter mentions me as case number 1 in entire India as a woman who benefited from the SAM workshop. And she puts me in the case study of 6 in India, 7 in India, she puts me at the top. And that is chapter has become a very important part of Salud. A very important part of a book which has been published. I'll give you the name of the book also. And Dr. Sudeshna Mukherjee, thank you, Sudeshna, because the first part, academic leadership, she gave her total input into it with her statistics, which I had to update sometimes. And I have to thank her too. And she is also a beneficiary of the SAM workshop. She is from Bangalore University, and she is the associate professor at the Department of Women's Studies. I would like to acknowledge the contribution of Dr. Chanana and Dr. Mukherjee too. You have to read this too. Lot of activities, right? Female, male among Azande, please read this. It is our Sudan. Azande is the females in Sudan, where they talk about, they are the first feminist. If you can read that book, please read it. And they talk about the feminine power in Africa, in Sudan. And please read this book. And there are 2 links I have given here. And this is the first link, which you can, this is the book, this is the article written by Dr. Chanana. And you can, this is the book on which this one is published. This is the book, Strategies for Supporting Inclusion and Diversity. please read this book. And in case you are interested, you can go through this. It has got many wonderful articles in this. And then I would like to, this is Karuna Chanana's. This is by Karuna Chanana, where she has mentioned my name as the first case study. You must read this article. It is one article which gives you the entire workshop in few pages, in 22 pages. This is my case study which she gives. You can see this. What appears to be most striking? Sir, can you read this? Sorry, sir, can you help me in reading that?
The case one. So Professor Shrimati Das, a humanities teacher in the undergraduate college, has recently taken over a prestigious and high-profile post of the director of Gurudev Tagore Indian Cultural Center in Mexico City. This is one among 33 such centers set up by the Indian government in Indian embassies designed to promote Indian culture in host countries. She has been given the diplomatic rank of First Secretary in the Indian Foreign Service ranking, and English language teacher, a multilingual translator, a polyglot, a classical dancer, author of books on culture and international women philosophers, recipient of several awards, and a much-traveled scholar. She has attributed much of her success to the SAM series.
I will just read the next part, because this is my contribution. She has mentioned me, case one. I want to contribute to your CBWM writing, as this is where it all began for me. In CBWM, I was exposed to the entire gamut of higher education scenario and its complex functioning by the highly motivated and experienced resource person who also brought me face to face with my capacitated self. Sam has empowered me, enabled me, enlightened me about the capacity of women in all domains and in higher education particularly. This you can find in the book, what I just mentioned, Grimmin's book, and this is the article by Karuna Chanana. In case you want to go through it, it is an article by itself. And thank you for your participation. Namaskar.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shrimati Das. I'm sure there's few researchers here who do Africa, so I'm sure they will be interested in this book that you shared with us,
Yeah,
as well as the articles that you shared as well. Please, anyone who is interested in any of these texts, you can contact us. And well, I hope this was useful and fruitful, and I hope we all think about building networks and putting into practice what Dr. Das has taught us.
So I have, Professor Matthias has my email ID, and you can get in touch with me. He also has my phone number, my Indian phone number, and you can really get in touch with me, or the other girls or the other women teachers can get in touch with me. It will be a pleasure to interact with you and give some more information apart from the PPT what is here. So I've given you a lot of homework. I've given you a lot of food for thought. And I hope it was useful, your 3 hours you spent here. And whatever you spend time, it has to be fruitful. It has to be effective. Otherwise, the workshop has no meaning at all. So at the end of every event, I always say, Namaste. It is typically Indian, saying that I bow to you. I bow to your intelligence. I bow to your knowledge. I bow to your wisdom. Namaskar. And I never end any program in Mexico without saying, Viva India, Viva Mexico.
Thank you very much, Dr. Das. I hope we can meet again soon.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for joining today.